Hello, my name is Merikay Waldvogel, and I'm here today to tell you my quilt story for the exhibition, Known and Unknown. I chose this particular quilt for my collection because I think it fits that category quite well. The quilt was made by Helen Rose Fleenor in about 1995, 96, somewhere in there. She lived in Russellville, Tennessee, in a rural part of Tennessee, not far from where I live in Knoxville. What inspired me to acquire this quilt was the fact that I just had never seen any quilt like this before. And after all the quilts I'd looked at, and this was a one of a kind. I saw her first as kind of an outsider artist. At the auction where I bought this quilt, there were 9 other quilts made by her. So I know it's not a one of a kind, but it turns out that she was being hired by, or she was selling her quilts to the Brunk family, and it was a way for her to earn some income. There's a lot of the known aspect is some of the literal figures on here, the animals, the birds. I particularly like this little girl, teenage girl probably, with a full skirt and the saddle shoes. Looks a lot like Merikay Waldvogel in the 1950s, and maybe many of the rest of us. When you get closer to the quilt, you'll notice a lot of religious scriptures, motivational messages. This one I especially like. It says, "Love mends all." And then there are blocks that are repeated on this quilt and others. This one in particular, 4H. And although she didn't sign her quilts, I think this might be her signature block. Her name, after all, was Helen, and she made this particular design with 4 H's. And looking at this, we can see how she constructed the quilts. Each block is a unit in itself, and she worked each little block, appliqued. She did a lot of embroidery. Some of them have painting on them, and then she connected them all potholder style, and you can see that on the back of this quilt. We'll show you that later. But I was particularly interested in her, and so to know more about her, I went to the farm where she lived. She died in 2001 at the age of 75, but her daughter-in-law still has access to the farm. There's a lot of unknowns about it. I'm not sure what some of these images refer to, but it gives us a lot to wonder about and be inspired by. Her name was Helen Rose Fleenor, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.